Hi everyone, I'm doing a short video on Ingram iPage. They've made some changes, so I need to redo the video. So let's log in. Our username is MTSU. Our password is lowercase MLS 2020, and we'll log in. Ingram is one of the, I'd say, top 3 vendors for libraries across the United States. Baker and Taylor is very popular, and so is Follett. There are some other vendors, but those I would say are the big 3. So here's the landing page, and this is where you would go to order as a librarian. With our MTSU account, don't worry, it's a dummy account and you can't accidentally order anything on it. You're free to look at this account at any time and explore further. There's a lot of different features in here, and I don't have time to show you all tonight, and I don't want to overwhelm you either. So let's just go over some highlights. This is a basic system where you find items and you put them in your cart and then you order them. You can download the records and upload them into your library system. So you can find materials by either browsing. Ingram sells, besides books, they have audiobooks and video games and music and things like that. So you can browse for items, you can do a search. You can just use this search right up here for title, keyword, author, etc. You can use curated lists, which we are going to use a little later. If you were actually doing this for real, you'd be looking at your orders and your reports and your account, etc. You can make lists of, in fact, that's how you put items in your cart, is you make lists, and you can directly go to lists here. You'll see that I've already made a list called Holly's March 2020 list, and it has 12 titles in it. I created the list by going to create new list, and then I named it, and so forth. So you can go ahead and create a list right here if you want to. If you do that, you just have to give it a name. And if you already had some ISBNs or EANs, you could just paste them into this box, as many as you wanted, and hit create, and that would start a new list with all of those titles already in it. So that is one way to create lists. I'm going to use the curated list feature. Ingram iPage has all sorts of services for librarians, and some of them are free, and some services can be curated to exactly what you need on an ongoing basis for monthly lists, and you would work with the vendor to choose exactly what you are interested in looking at each month. For our purposes, we're going to go into the free complimentary lists right here at View Our Lists. And you'll see that they break it into adult, children's, and teen. They also have audiovisual, award winners, and K-12 lists. And these are done each month. You'll notice that they have them separated by interest, and they have some diversity lists, as well as some other lists, for instance, social awareness lists. For my purpose, I'm going to go into the high interest title selections, and you'll see that so every month they do lists for fiction, nonfiction, and graphic novels, the new books that are coming out. These are the adult titles because that's what I chose. So if I go into the April 2020 fiction, you'll see here that we have a list of titles coming out in April. They try to keep it a couple of months ahead so that the library can order ahead of time so that they can have the book in at when the book is supposed to come out. So you'll see that you have the title here, you have the author, the EAN or the ISBN, the format, the publisher, the pub date, and the standard retail price. Now you won't, as a librarian, as a library, you wouldn't ever pay standard retail price, you would pay a discounted rate, which is in general about 37%. Is the general discount. Some books would be more and some would be less depending on the format and the type and all that. But for this purpose, we can just say 37% or so. So in these titles, and you can see that some of them I've already put in a selection list. A lot of these have some symbols, and these mean different things, such as citations, reviews. The camera is just the big shot of the cover page. So for instance, if we go into Redheads by the Side of the Road, you can see here you have the title, the author, the ISBN, EAN. It's published by Knopf. It is $26.95. It's hardcover, coming out in April. If you wanted it in a different format, such as audio or paperback, you could click on this and go to that format for the item. It lists BISAC categories. I don't know if Dr. Lambert teaches those, but those are more a bookstore model of categories. It also lists the Dewey for fiction. Fiction always gets a 13.54, but in practicality, libraries usually shelve fiction by fiction and don't use the Dewey. But that is just the default number of fiction for Dewey. You can also see that they have a Library of Congress call number. So if you were a Library of Congress library, like an academic library, then you would use that call number. If you were doing it by Dewey, or I'm sorry, by the number, but mostly, fiction is shelved by fiction. Anyway, so one of the perks of iPage and other vendors is they have the reviews built into it. So for instance, this title, you can see it had a Library Journal pre-pub alert letting you know that this book is coming out because it's probably a popular author. There was a Publisher's Weekly review, Kirkus, and a book list review. There's more information about publisher marketing and other citations in here. I already had added it to my March list. If I wanted to add it, if it wasn't added to the list, I would just go here and choose the list from that, and I would click Add to List, and then it adds to my list right here. So let me go back here. So you can add to list that way, or you can add to list by clicking in these boxes out here and going to the bottom of the page and choosing your list and clicking on it here and selecting add. Now for some reason this is wonky right now and not showing my March list, and I'm not sure if it doesn't work for you. You might have to do it one by one. I think there's some sort of glitch right at the moment. These OPAC buttons are just for if you were working with Ingram, you could link your OPAC to iPage so that you could see if you already had that title in your library automatically, and that would help you from ordering duplicates. So that's what that is. So I think from here, let's go back to my list, and I just want to download and show you how to download the list and go from there. So I have my list. It has 12 titles in it. I can do different things. I can email it to myself or somebody else. I can check for duplicates. If I had a really big list, that's something you'd want to do to make sure you didn't order the same thing twice. I can edit, view it, etc. But I want to download this list. And I am going to download in Excel format. So I will choose Excel. Now, if I was working in a library and going to use this with another system, I might choose one of the other formats depending on the system that I had. But for this exercise, we're going to use Excel. And I'm going to hit download. and it's going to download a nice little list for me. I will open up. Okay, so you'll see that it gives you, let me open this up just a little bit if I can slide this over. Okay. So for this exercise, as I said, I would like you to tell me more about this list. So you'll have to modify this a little bit. So I'm going to add 2 rows here, and I'm going to merge these columns together, and I'm going to call this Holly's Adult Fiction List. I did ask for, well, let's go column by column. So you have the product number and the EAN number, which in this case are the same. It's the long ISBN 14-digit number, which is fine because that you can use anywhere else to find the book. You have the title of the book. You have the author, the format, the publisher, the pub date, whether it's in a series or not, and the series name. You've got the BISAC and Dewey, which isn't really necessary for this exercise, and some Ingram categories, LC call number. The discount, so in general, the discount would be 37%. That's the regular discount, if it is not showing up on this list. So I also wanted you to note whether some of these titles, whether they were the forthcoming or a bestseller or a reviewed. So you can just use the notes column if you want for that. So you could just write forthcoming title. That was a forthcoming title. You could say this title was reviewed, by LJ, Library Journal. You could say it's a bestseller, New York Times, etc. This one's a classic. So just tell me why you chose this title in the notes section. It looks like everything else is coming through fine. So I would just save it with a proper title, and you can just use this list. Oh, I'm sorry, you want to total up. So for here, you can total, and we'll take out the discount, and then we'll do the actual total. So to total these numbers, you hit the function key, you hit sum, and you would choose the numbers that you want to add up. So the street list is $310.88, but the discount is 37%. So I'm going to do this actually on my calculator. $310.88 times 0.37% equals 115, about 03. And I'm also going to format this cell if I could get it to work. No, that's not what I wanted it to do. Come on. Hello, why is it not working? Okay, and then so I am going to subtract these 2 cells here. So this is P17 minus P18. So I'm going to click here and get equal P17 minus P18. And that should give me my total. What did I do wrong? There we go. All right, see, it's frustrating for me sometimes as well. Okay, so the actual total then you see is $195.85 after the discount. So that is the assignment in a nutshell, and if you have any other questions, please let me know, and I'll be glad to help you if I can.